I was reborn before everything began. In my past life, I was imprisoned for reading risque books. This time, starting anew, I am determined to reclaim everything that belongs to me. In this world, Japan has enacted a morality law. Whether in public or private settings, discussions of sexual topics are completely banned. Every citizen must wear an ultra-small information terminal, known as a PM, which monitors the host's speech and actions around the clock. This way of life has persisted for over a decade. The protagonist, Okuma, decides to enroll in the most prestigious and strictest academy locally because his admired upperclassman, Anna, studies there. Okuma goes to great lengths to get into this academy. On the first day of school, while on the subway, he encounters a senior who looks like a gorilla staring intently at him. Okuma is then falsely accused of groping a girl. Remembering his admiration for upperclassman Anna, Okuma decides to help. However, under the strict morality law, groping is a criminal offense, even though Okuma did not do it. Being caught would be disastrous. Just as Okuma, in disguise, is about to be surrounded by officials, a woman wearing panties on her head and a cape appears, shouting dirty jokes and scattering risque pictures. The officials urgently evacuate the crowd, identifying the caped woman as the infamous erotic terrorist, Setsugen no Ao. With her help, Okuma escapes the station and makes it to school. Known as a poor student from a notorious academy, he is shunned by the high-achieving students at his new school, except for Hyuka, a classmate curious about physiology. The students at the academy are ignorant about sex, and Hyuka, eager to understand the origins of life, constantly pesters Okuma about reproduction. As Okuma grows frustrated, Keijo, claiming to be the vice president of the student council, appears and says the president wants to meet Okuma. The president has been looking forward to Okuma's enrollment. Okuma finds the gorilla-like senior, Goriki, also present. Anna invites Okuma to join the student council, and he happily agrees. Curious why he was invited given his background from a notorious academy, Anna explains that a few months ago, an erotic terrorist named Setsugen no Ao appeared, likely a student from their academy. To protect the academy's reputation, the student council is eager to identify the terrorist internally. Unfortunately, the council's lack of understanding of lewd concepts means even Anna unknowingly brushed past Setsugen no Ao without realizing. Okuma lamented that Anna was truly pure and then vowed to help improve the moral climate. Thus, Anna asked Keijo to guide Okuma through the processes. Keijo took Okuma to a cafe, later praising his acting skills, and unexpectedly revealing her true identity as Setsugen no Ao. To her surprise, Okuma genuinely admired Anna, despite being the son of a notorious erotic terrorist. Okuma declared that his past was behind him, and he was now devoted to Anna. Keijo revealed that since her identity was exposed, they could not simply let Okuma go unless he joined her organization, SOX, ironically named by omitting the middle letter. Okuma was puzzled how Keijo could speak so blatantly without being detected by the PM. Keijo pulled out a pink phone, explaining it was equipped with a 3-minute daily signal blocker, allowing her to freely crack dirty jokes. Okuma quipped about where these dirty Ultraman came from. Keijo shared that her father had been fighting against the stringent public morals law and was arrested 10 years ago for allegedly molesting a high school girl, a charge she knew to be false. Her father was targeted because he opposed the implementation of PMs and was framed and imprisoned. Keijo admitted she couldn't change her habit of making lewd jokes, so she aimed to change the society that prohibited them, even in private. Okuma initially wanted to refuse Keijo's invitation, but she revealed the rope he had used to escape the station, covered with his DNA, which could lead to his arrest if handed over. Moreover, Okuma couldn't reveal Keijo's identity, as she was known publicly as the vice president of the student council and a close friend of Anna. Exposing her would harm Anna, both reputationally and emotionally. Keijo teased that she spoke of their friendship with her upper mouth, leading to an exasperated outburst from Okuma. After escaping from Keijo, Okuma was caught by Hyuka, who interrogated him about the process of human reproduction and showed him her research on fly breeding, suspecting that all creatures must mate to reproduce. Okuma fled to the restroom, overhearing boys discussing sex-related rumors. He realized that even in this prestigious school, students covertly replaced recognizable banned words with others to avoid PM detection, though the rumors were unfounded. Kajo believed the lack of accurate information was due to incomplete understanding. As head of the SOX organization, she planned to disseminate accurate sexual knowledge to the school, which lacked it. Okuma felt Kajo should talk to Hyuka, but Kajo deemed her odd, especially for studying flies mating. Upon hearing this, Kajo was struck with a bold idea and decided to stage an erotic attack at the next assembly. The assembly on Monday began, and Okuma was forced to wear a wig and a bizarre mask, impersonating Setsugen no Ao. He distracted the student council and teachers on the playground, while Kajo executed a diversionary tactic. She entered the hall, distributing small cards to students and providing a voiceover for a video of flies mating. Okuma criticized this behavior as perverse, but admitted that rebelling against the restrictive decency laws strangely thrilled him. Kajo noticed Okuma leaving a distinct impression on the playground and teased that he must have enjoyed betraying his admiration for Anna. Unable to respond, Okuma was left speechless. During a student council meeting, Anna was unaware of the earlier video and the symbols on the playground. However, Guriki, suspecting Okuma due to his background as the son of a former erotic terrorist, had been watching him. Initially aiming to investigate Okuma, Guriki was nearly framed, but was rescued by Okuma. Okuma admitted his lineage and explained that he had learned many inappropriate jokes from his father. Since his father's public attack against the government's anti-pornography laws, their neighbors had ostracized them. Only Anna, whom he met after transferring schools in kindergarten, did not care about his past. Kajo remarked on Okuma's deep love for Anna, suggesting he must have felt great betraying her. Okuma denied this, and Kajo stressed the need to gain the trust of Guriki and Anna quickly. She devised a new plan, instructing Okuma to retrieve a yellow magazine from a designated spot on the map. This magazine was rare due to the strict anti-pornography laws. Okuma found the magazine and returned it to Kajo, who decided to print copies and hide them around the school with Okuma. Hyuka confronted Okuma, recognizing the flies in the video he released as the same ones she had been studying. Okuma avoided discussing it. Kajo felt the impact of the magazines wasn't strong enough and wished for an artist to draw mating scenes. However, the PMs monitored hand movements, making it impossible to draw by hand due to the laws. Even minors were immediately sentenced for such acts. At a subsequent meeting, Anna noted the increasing appearance of erotic magazines at school. Okuma, however, was distracted by a painting behind Anna, which she had found in a shoe locker and hung up because she found it cute, unaware of its erotic nature. Upon realizing its content thanks to Okuma, she burned the painting. Anna noticed Okuma's good relationship with Kajo and mentioned that since he joined the student council, the atmosphere had become much livelier. Okuma thinks Anna is too pure. Even Kajo sometimes has no way to deal with her. However, Kajo admits that Anna is a good person, but she can be too obsessive. If she keeps being suppressed, she might snap and become terrifying one day. Anna's mother, Sophia, is currently promoting the Pornography Prohibition Act. Sophia is the head of the PM organization and the wife of a politician who made significant contributions to the morality law. Once the Pornography Prohibition Act is enacted, PM's monitoring will become stricter. Even a casual glance at a girl on the street will be recorded by PM. Growing up in such a family, Anna can't even recognize a pornographic image. Is this really normal? Later, Kajo and Okuma plan to carry out a sexually themed terror attack during the school physical exams by mixing protein into the boys' urine. This will tarnish the school's reputation because the presence of protein in urine could indicate hand movements. Okuma complains that Kajo only wants to spread sexual knowledge. Kajo reconsiders and comes up with another idea. She asks Okuma to impersonate Setsugen no Ao and send a fake warning letter to Anna, stating that SOX will mix protein into the boys' urine during the physical exams. Although Anna and Guriki don't understand why this is necessary, they decide to protect the urine samples. Okuma, disguised as Setsugen no Ao, separates the male and female students during the checkup and prepares them to recite words that outline the process of pregnancy. Although Okuma feels bad about this, his body honestly enjoys the thrill. At a crucial moment, Anna intervenes. To evade her, Okuma jumps out of the window, but doesn't expect Anna to pull the rope up by hand. Okuma flees to the rooftop, And just as Anna is about to catch him, Kajo calls Anna and says the real Setsugen no Ao is in the gym. Anna immediately goes after him with Guriki, allowing Okuma to catch his breath and remove his wig and mask, unaware that a painter has seen everything from a distance. Early one morning, Anna finds a letter in her shoe locker. Then there's a morning assembly where a third-year student, Sayotome, who has won first prize for her painting, dramatically tears up her certificate in front of all the students and teachers and glances at Okuma before she leaves. Okuma notices something off about Anna's expression and thinks it might be because of the dirty jokes he and Kajo made, making her uncomfortable. As Okuma is conflicted, Hyuka persistently seeks him out, curious about why protein was mixed into the boy's urine. Before Okuma can claim ignorance, Sayotome, who had won the award earlier, chains Okuma and drags him to the art room, declaring him her pet and revealing that she saw him disguised as Setsugen no Ao on the rooftop. Sayotome held a chain in one hand and a candle in the other. As she passed by, Kajo called her a pervert. Sayotome didn't seem to like Kajo much. She wanted Okuma's help to overcome her creative block, specifically asking him about romance-related matters. She also mentioned that Kajo was her least favorite rival in love. Then, Guriki appeared and took Sayotome away. Okuma relayed this incident to Kajo. Kajo saw it as a good opportunity, having wanted to recruit Sayotome for a while due to her artistic skills, which might extend to erotic art. She suggested using this chance to educate Sayotome about sexual knowledge. Kajo also promised to help Okuma get closer to Anna if he cooperated. However, Okuma said he had no such intentions towards Anna and admired her purely. Kajo doubted his sincerity, stating that physical attraction between genders is inevitable and shouldn't be so strongly rejected. She also informed Okuma that Anna had been distraught lately because a pervert was stalking her. This person had taken photos of Anna and made strange phone calls. Okuma was worried about Anna, and Kayo assured him she would protect her. She advised Okuma to focus on recruiting Sayotome. Okuma noted that Kayo seemed to have a good relationship with Anna, which surprised him as he thought their friendship was a facade. Keijo explained that 10 years ago, when she couldn't make dirty jokes, she felt isolated from society. Anna had reached out to help her interact with others, for which Keijo was grateful. Later, Okuma met with Sayotome, who turned out to be very innocent about her crush. However, understanding whom Sayotome liked was essential for supporting her romantic pursuits. They planned to confess their crushes simultaneously, but Okuma was interrupted by a call. Sayotome confessed her feelings for Anna first. Feeling cornered, Okuma, realizing Sayotome liked Anna, dared not admit his own feelings for Anna, and falsely claimed he liked Keijo. Sayotome thought this was perfect, imagining herself with Anna and Okuma with Keijo. Okuma asked Sayotome if she wasn't upset about deceiving Anna. Sayotome replied that Anna seemed happy chasing terrorists and viewed their group's actions as minor mischief. She was willing to support Okuma. Recently, Anna had been distracted. Guriki suspected Okuma was the stalker, but Anna believed otherwise and reassured Okuma not to worry, confident the issue would soon be resolved. Kajo suggested that Guriki's targeting of boys stemmed from his unrequited love for Anna, though he was unaware of his own feelings. Kayo said such unawareness was normal under the abstract morality laws, which made people unaware and distorted their feelings towards those they liked. Okuma shared Sayotome's feelings for Anna with Kajo, who now suspected Sayotome might be the stalker. If true, they couldn't recruit her, as SOCs aimed to spread sexual knowledge and oppose the morality laws, not to engage stalkers. Okuma believed Sayotome was not that kind of person. Keijo decided to trust Okuma's judgment and let him continue communicating with Sayotome. Meanwhile, she planned to take Anna and proactively lure the stalker. Keijo intended to dress as a man and accompany Anna on a date. Guriki thought this was too dangerous and wanted to be Anna's date himself. However, Keijo argued that the stalker wouldn't appear because of Guriki's burly figure. She decided to have Okuma come and provide support. Okuma told Sayotome about the plan. Sayotome decided to play the hero and grabbed Okuma to shave his legs, preparing him to wear women's clothes to avoid being recognized by the stalker. According to her, there are only 0 or countless times for cross-dressing. A few days later, Sayotome went out dressed as a man and indeed saw Anna and Kajo on their date. Watching Anna, Sayotome got excited and drew a portrait of her. She had always struggled to draw Anna well. feeling something was missing. She thought becoming lovers might reveal Anna's secret. Although Anna was the only model she wanted to draw, she always ended up making poor drawings of her, which made Sayotomi want to cry. At that moment, Guriki heard the crying and came over, almost falling in love with Okuma in women's clothes at first sight. But he quickly recognized it was Okuma. Just then, the stalker suddenly appeared. Kajo knocked one down, but didn't expect two more to emerge from the bushes. As Sayotomi was thrown aside, Okuma rushed forward, unsure if he was trying to save Kajo or Anna. Kajo quickly counterattacked, tripping another one. However, another threw a rock, hitting Okuma on the head. Okuma's wig flew off, and he fell on Anna, accidentally kissing her, a pose that could have knocked out teeth in reality. Okuma quickly got up to apologize but fainted from the blow to his head and the bleeding. Everyone was busy taking care of Okuma and didn't notice Anna's perverse expression. Kajo thought Anna would definitely come to care for Okuma, who got hurt protecting her. However, when Okuma turned around, he saw Guriki eating an apple Guriki had peeled for him. He then saw Hyuka climbing through a window to visit him, curious whether men could get pregnant, because she had a crush on Okuma and Guriki. "Don't ship everything. You might get a stomachache," she said. Okuma was saddened that Anna never visited him even once. Thinking about the accidental kiss, he feared Anna might hate him. Meanwhile, Hyuka told him that the student council was cracking down harder on pornography in school, even conducting surprise checks on personal belongings and opening students' lockers without permission. Okuma had never seen Anna react so intensely before. At the same time, Keijo revealed her identity to Sayotomi and was educating her about erotic magazines, which Sayotomi found very satisfying. However, their hands were monitored by PM, making it impossible for them to draw. Keijo suggested drawing with their feet, but the biggest problem now was that Sayotomi had never seen a live scene, so she couldn't draw that scenario accurately. On the other side, Okuma was discharged from the hospital smoothly. Sayotomi came to pick him up. Unfortunately, Anna had not visited Okuma at all. During this time, Keijo was also very busy, apparently communicating with other erotic terror organizations. To show her gratitude for Sayotomi's earlier rescue, Anna agreed to model for her. Sayotomi also asked Anna if she would visit Okuma, but noticed her expression was odd. Okuma felt sure he was disliked. Back at the academy, Guriki was still concerned about Okuma's condition, but Anna did not even greet Okuma, which made him feel dejected. Keijo was absent from the student council today, as she had some matters to handle. Later, while cleaning, Okuma and Anna accidentally bumped into each other, and Anna's expression seemed twisted. Okuma returned home dejectedly, but thought he saw a figure flash by on the balcony. He went outside and noticed a suspicious liquid on the ground. Soon after, Keijo called him about an urgent matter and asked him to meet at a cafe, offering to treat him to a meal to celebrate his discharge. Keijo had explosive news. She had found a location storing a large collection of extreme erotic magazines. These magazines were even older than the current decency laws. If they could get these, their knowledge reserve would increase. However, Sayotomi was skeptical since the neighboring surveillance department might have already known about it and possibly destroyed them. But Keijo explained this was an accident because the location was private property owned by a wealthy individual who made a fortune from erotic novels. Although the author had passed away, his grandson was now in charge. Recently, while cleaning, he discovered a batch of leftover works. He had been secretly supporting national erotic terror organizations, but somehow the news leaked. The surveillance department planned a search in 3 weeks, but the manager delayed it with an excuse. Keijo decided to time their magazine retrieval on the day of the search. If it was just the 3 of them, they might get caught and face heavy sentences. But if it were just curious students, even the surveillance department would be in a dilemma. Okuma and Sayotomi looked terrified. Was Keijo planning to incite the students to go hiking? Keijo stated that success or failure hinged on this. They planned to quietly spread rumors about the magazine's location. After returning from the cafe, Okuma found his doorway stuffed with letters. The next day, he handed these letters and the situation to Keijo. Keijo suspected Okuma was being stalked, especially since a strange liquid was found in Okuma's drawer. She felt they couldn't deal with this for now because today was a speech by Anna's mother, Sophia, and surveillance personnel were at the school. Okuma learned that Sophia was promoting a new law banning erotic content accompanied by new PM devices. To his shock, they resembled chastity belts. Moreover, Sophia proposed that students agree to the ban, with signatures collected over the weekend of the mountain search. Kajo thought the chastity locks were far too dangerous. If the signing was scheduled for Sunday, their plan was likely to be disrupted. So, Keijo decided to think of a new strategy. Meanwhile, Hyuka returned to the lab and found that Anna had confiscated all her research, which made her very angry. Keijo believed that the students being monitored would never give up signing to go hiking. To incite the students to follow them to the mountain, they needed provocative images. However, Sayotome was not yet able to produce them. So, Keijo came up with a bad idea: have Sayotome follow Okuma home. Recently, Okuma had a female stalker, right? Keijo even considered sacrificing Okuma's chastity to let Sayotome hide in the closet and learn drawing skills. They gave Okuma no chance to refuse. After arriving at Okuma's home, Sayotome immediately hid in his closet, ready to focus on drawing. Okuma thought he wouldn't be able to sleep, but he dozed off as evening arrived. He was suddenly awakened by the sound of the door opening. Before he could turn around, he was pinned down by a hand. A familiar female voice, slightly shy, made Okuma recognize it. It was Anna. From the closet, Sayotome was shocked. Anna, who had appeared in a perverted manner, stripped off her clothes and pinned Okuma down, fondling him and kissing him passionately. Okuma failed to resist, and just as his chastity was at risk, Keijo, having finished shopping, came to check on him and Sayotome. She caught Anna in the act, who, embarrassed, picked up her clothes and ran away. Meanwhile, Sayotome finally knew what she wanted to draw. Unable to use her hands, she held a pen in her mouth and started drawing frantically. After Anna ran off, Okuma and Keijo exchanged looks, and Keijo let out a sharp cry. Anna went home with a flirtatious look and met Hyuka downstairs. Anna had intensified surveillance because she believed that being stricter would earn Okuma's love, as only a sound character and strict attitude could be respected and loved. Hyuka thought Anna was ridiculous. Okuma couldn't believe the revered Anna would do such a thing. He couldn't even look at Anna directly at the student council, but Anna seemed normal and even prepared cookies for Okuma and Keijo. Okuma found the cookies tasty but oddly flavored. Just then, Anna shyly twisted, saying that just thinking about her feelings for Okuma made her body involuntarily secrete a love fluid, which she then added to the cookies. Okuma was horrified and rinsed his mouth. Why did things turn out this way? Keijo shook her head, stating this was the problem with overly strict decency laws. Anna couldn't distinguish between love and desire. Keijo told Okuma they were now mutually attracted, which should make him happy. Okuma said he admired the dignified and pure Anna. If he was happy about this situation, wouldn't that be taking advantage of her? Meanwhile, Anna, turning into a yandere, asked Keijo why she was so close to Okuma and even appeared at his house. Keijo quickly explained that Okuma was concerned about why Anna had been distant recently and had asked her for advice. Anna then relaxed and told Okuma they could meet again when she was free. Anna learned from her mother, Sophia, that the ban on erotic content was about to be promoted widely. She was instructed to encourage more student signatures at the academy. On the other side, after Anna's attack on Okuma, Sayotome had a burst of inspiration and created numerous indecent drawings. Keijo arranged for Okuma to hide them at school. However, as soon as Okuma arrived at school, Anna attacked him wildly, and her behavior became increasingly deranged. Okuma was chased by her for several days and took refuge in Hyuka's lab. Anna pursued relentlessly, but the promotional posters and address drawn by Sayotome ended up being left in Hyuka's lab when Anna didn't notice the backpack. Awoken Hyuka found the backpack. Okuma was unable to distribute the posters and address due to Anna's pursuit. When Sophia came to give a lecture and encourage students to sign, she brought enforcement officers and conducted a major sweep of the school, quickly arresting a group of people. Keijo felt this plan was likely to fail, but she was still prepared to head to the search location, even at the risk of being caught. She decided not to let Okuma follow her to avoid ruining his future. Before Okuma could respond, he heard a commotion below. After Anna had raided her lab, Hyuka remembered this grudge. Seeing the drawings and the map and information about the search location left in her lab, Hyuka spread the news. On the day of the signing, she led the entire school to the search site. Sophia was shocked to find not a single student came to sign. Anna stepped forward to solve the problem. Hyuka executed a deep strategy, having the girls pretend to block the boys, confusing the enforcement officers to chase the boys first. The girls took the opportunity to wear masks and quietly infiltrated the mountain to find the risque magazines. Kajo immediately disguised herself and told Okuma that they needed to take this opportunity to take out as many works as possible. This crisis also changed Kajo's image in Okuma's eyes. She was no longer just someone who liked dirty jokes and forced others into her team. Keijo said they would talk about the SOX organization after this incident. Just then, Anna caught up, targeting Setsugen no Ao, thinking that capturing them would make Okuma like her more. Keijo decided to buy Okuma time and drew Anna away. Okuma slipped and fell down the mountain, rolling into a room filled with magazines, including works by Dan Do. Hearing Keijo's scream behind him, Okuma debated whether to go out and help. Initially, he admired the pure atmosphere of Anna's academy and joined only because Keijo forced him into SOX. If he pretended not to see, Keijo would be caught and he would be free. Yet, Okuma couldn't ignore the situation. A box of items fell out from a bookshelf behind him. Okuma immediately changed into the clothes inside, grabbed a large bag of books, and rushed out, claiming to be an accomplice of Setsugen no Ao. Anna initially wanted to capture Okuma too, but although her brain didn't recognize him, her body reacted. Feeling something was wrong, Anna jumped off a cliff and left. Hyuka initially intended to just embarrass Anna, so she didn't steal the yellow book. Keijo commented that Okuma's outfit was too abstract. During the mountain search and signature campaign, SOX achieved a significant victory. Although only 20 books were smuggled past the surveillance department, Keijo was overjoyed. Sayotome thoroughly read the books, got nosebleeds, and started creating derivative works. As for Sophia's mandatory signatures, Okuma and the others replaced them with risque magazine images. Sophia, caught spreading pornography publicly, was forced to repeal the prohibition law. Okuma openly accepted his membership in the SOX organization. After promoting the magazines at school, Keijo found that although the magazines aroused desires in people, they didn't know how to release these desires. Therefore, Keijo grabbed Okuma to start making props, starting with lubricants. Okuma complained about only making male-oriented props and not female-oriented ones. Keijo said Sayotomi was drawing the female-oriented techniques. However, the magazines they brought back contained detailed instructions on how to make props. Keijo also wanted to make a bouncing evil pink ball but lacked the props and knowledge. Keijo decided to send Okuma to find Hyuka, who seemed the smartest of the group, and told Okuma to trick Hyuka by saying it was for massaging, though where it would massage was left unsaid. Keijo warned that if Okuma didn't seek out Hyuka, she wouldn't accompany him to face Anna. Okuma said Keijo was too cruel. Keijo decided to first create the male-oriented toys and have Sayotomi color them for Okuma to test. Meanwhile, Hyuka actually took on the task of making the pink ball. Just as they finished the male-oriented toy, they received news from Hyuka that the pink ball was ready. Surprised by the speed, Okuma hurried to the school at Keijo's urging, only to find that Hyuka had not only made the pink ball, but that the finished product was perfect. The defective ones were distributed around the school for anyone to find. Hyuka mentioned there was a reward for making the pink ball, and that's when Okuma noticed Hyuka was only wearing a lab coat because her uniform had been washed and was drying after falling into a river. However, at this moment, Anna found the lab and saw Okuma and Hyuka tugging at each other. In anger, she crushed the doorknob. Okuma covered Hyuka's mouth, wanting to explain, and quickly pulled Anna outside, claiming he was discussing with Hyuka how to give Anna a gift, and that he didn't know what kind of gifts girls liked. Anna then took the pink ball from Okuma's bag and asked if this was the gift. Caught off guard and unable to explain what it was, Okuma simply said it was a gemstone that increases luck. Anna said she loved anything given by Okuma and promised to treasure it. Before Okuma could explain, Anna left with the pink ball. Okuma thought that having the remote control in hand meant there shouldn't be any major problems. After Anna left, she felt that the gift from Okuma was very precious and decided to carry it with her at all times to show her appreciation, so she planned to make the pink ball into a necklace. The next day, Kajo complained that the carefully made pink ball was taken by Anna. Another pink ball brought back soon broke because Kajo used it for experiments and accidentally applied too much force, damaging it. The switch was left on. Okuma and Kajo were in the meeting room when Anna happened to be there too, and the remote control was accidentally triggered. Kajo saw Anna's chest trembling and mistakenly thought Okuma did it on purpose. She noticed his gaze was odd and reminded him that the vibration sound was quite loud. Kajo thought Okuma was a pervert and hurriedly left the meeting room. Meanwhile, Anna almost pounced on Okuma. Okuma thought about fixing the remote control quickly, so he went to find Hyuka. However, Hyuka said she couldn't fix it without the main unit. At that moment, Anna chased after Okuma. Okuma wanted to find Kajo to explain, but he ran into Sayotome on the way. Sayotome wanted to see Okuma and Anna together for drawing inspiration. Okuma ran away but was caught by Guriki sent by Anna. Guriki handed Okuma over to Anna. Okuma almost lost his chastity in the meeting room. But fortunately, the pink ball cracked under pressure at the critical moment, saving him. However, he was still considered a pervert by Kajo afterward, and Anna seemed to want another gemstone like that. Anna was upset to see Okuma only talking to Kajo and Sayotome. Kusuri, the daughter of a leader of a pornographic terrorist organization, thought her father's dealings with the surveillance department were less impressive than the bold actions of the SOX organization, which could attract imitators. After SOX disrupted Sophia's anti-pornography law, they quickly became a dark horse among pornographic terrorists. Kajo swiftly collaborated with other major pornographic terrorist organizations, sharing the books they acquired from the valley. They also received some booklets in return. Hyuka commented that although they were not as good as the batch they brought back, these were also rare finds, especially with some BL content mixed in. Hyuka was greatly inspired and created more diverse books for the academy. Since Okuma sacrificed himself to save Anna, Guriki completely changed his view of Okuma and invited him to dine together daily, even preparing lunchboxes for him. If I remember correctly, didn't Guriki blush at Okuma's female disguise before? Kayo suspected the relationship between the two was strangely close, but Okuma stayed close to Guriki to avoid being caught by Anna alone. At that moment, screams came from the girls' changing room as several students reported stolen underwear. Recently, local streets have seen frequent thefts, now affecting the school as well. Considering that the thieves' announcements were related to socks and the increasing number of manga in school, Anna decided to crack down. Therefore, Okuma and Kajo were tasked with guarding outside the changing room. Kajo soon spotted a suspicious person entering the girls' changing room. Since Okuma couldn't enter, Kajo went in alone to catch the person. Just as Kajo left, Anna appeared before Okuma, frisked him, and splashed water on his face. Had Guriki not arrived in time, Okuma might have been compromised. When Anna left, she casually mentioned his zipper was down. Okuma pulled Hyuka out of the bushes, urging her to rescue him next time instead of just drawing. Hyuka reminded Okuma that Kajo had been in the changing room too long. Realizing something was wrong, Okuma rushed over only to find the suspicious person was Hyuka, who hadn't stolen any underwear but was hiding a manga. The manga looked familiar to Okuma, with a style similar to Kajo and Hyuka's. Upon confiscation, it was confirmed to be their creation, influenced by previous BL manga, featuring Okuma and Guriki as models. Angered, Okuma tore up the manga. At that moment, Anna and Guriki caught the underwear thief. Okuma and Kajo hurried over and found not just one person, but a group, both men and women. They projected their leader, who claimed the name Itadaki, and advocated for the freedom to view everyone's underwear in public. Okuma dismissed this as mere perversion, not akin to resisting oppressive decency laws. Yet the public, misled, thought Itadaki was inspired by SOX, damaging SOX's reputation. Itadaki acted under the guise of resisting the government, but was merely perverse. Keijo didn't mind SOX being seen as the bad guys, since their group did indulge in risque jokes and adult manga. Okuma suggested ignoring Itadaki, noting that terrorists were inherently bad. However, Keijo argued that losing public support could jeopardize their mission of spreading accurate sexual knowledge. She believed the best solution was to quickly handle the Itadaki group. On their way back, Okuma admired Kajo's courage. They then encountered Kusuri, pursued by the surveillance department. She portrayed herself as an innocent bystander, igniting Okuma's sense of justice. He helped her hide in a box, but the surveillance department was relentless. Okuma then ran into Hyuka, who offered to distract them if Okuma promised future leniency for student council manga based on him and Goriki. With his promise, Hyuka diverted the pursuers. Kusuri recognized Okuma's school uniform and falsely claimed to admire his academy, expressing a desire to visit it with Okuma. Just then, an older man Kusuri had previously deceived approached, thinking she had betrayed him. Unexpectedly, Kusuri incapacitated him with a stun gun. It was then that Okuma realized Kusuri was the daughter of a notorious pornographic terrorist. Kusuri revealed she was looking for members of SOX and was surprised Okuma had discovered her. Deciding to stun Okuma, she was stopped when he quickly explained that he too was a member of SOX, even showing her a drawing by Hyuka to prove it. Kusuri then believed Okuma, and he took her to meet Kajo. Kajo, wearing a panty mask, urged Kusuri to return home. However, Kusuri disliked her cowardly father who never resisted during raids by the surveillance department, preferring the more rebellious SOX. She mentioned that Itadaki supported SOX, which made Kajo even more determined to send her away. But Kusuri offered to fund them and showed her arsenal, including a jet gun and a high-voltage taser, which Kajo found too dangerous, stating their organization did not need such vulgar items as they only needed mouths to tell risque jokes. Kusuri then portrayed herself as pitiful and promised to behave and help, revealing she had been pursued by surveillance for throwing a yogurt bomb. Still, Kajo found her too risky, especially since her father was a well-known benefactor in the pornographic terrorist community, and his capture could impact support networks nationwide. Okuma concluded that they couldn't let Kusuri act freely, so they decided to look after her until she could return home. Kusuri temporarily stayed at Okuma's place. One morning, Okuma woke to find Kusuri had crawled into his bed, and Anna was staring intently at him. Okuma quickly lied that Kusuri was his father's illegitimate child, previously kept secret, and now visiting the school. He quickly woke Kusuri to explain, and she, catching on, pretended to be unaware, teasingly asking if Anna was someone important to Okuma. Anna became excited, nearly causing trouble for Kusuri. Anna then left to pick someone up, while Goriki found Okuma, blushing and wanting to go to school with him. He mentioned Anna had an important announcement to make. Hyuka, hiding in the closet, was frantically drawing until Okuma took her notebook and tore it up. Kajo sensed trouble because the person Anna picked up was Tsukimiso, a new member of the disciplinary committee from the surveillance department, trained to recognize indecent jokes. Upon arrival, Tsukimiso began overcorrecting by dismantling the sports field, claiming tug-of-war ropes suggested bondage and tennis nets resembled stockings, which didn't deter inappropriate thoughts, but instead gave Kajo a realization. Students at the academy were worried that SOX could no longer distribute their materials there. At this time, Hyuka approached Tsukimiso to discuss BL materials, nearly having them confiscated. Hyuka lied, claiming they were psychology books that made people feel relaxed after reading. Tsukimiso then actually removed the books from the blacklist. Okuma mocked the situation, having thought Tsukimiso was part of a serious decency squad, but realizing they weren't very sharp. When Okuma returned home, he dined with Kusuri and Hyuka, who had come over for a free meal. They talked about when Kajo and Okuma first met, after Kajo had rescued Okuma from the surveillance department. Kusuri noticed a sparkle in Okuma's eyes when he spoke about Kajo, unaware of his high regard for her. Thus, Kusuri decided to stir up trouble. Kajo also decided to implement a new plan. The next day, she disguised Kusuri and mentioned that their academy had a lot of internal educational knowledge. Their next target was to spread sexual health knowledge to the neighboring elite academy. It would be difficult to infiltrate the school, so they planned to distribute photocopies of the materials around the school. Kusuri, dragging Okuma to the vicinity of the elite academy with photocopies in her backpack, admitted she had seen some of the materials but wasn't as knowledgeable as Kajo and Okuma since her father only allowed her to read shoujo manga and romance novels. Kusuri wanted to infiltrate the elite academy, so she asked Okuma to go back while she pretended to be a visiting student to gain entry. Okuma had no choice but to return and inform Kajo, who criticized Okuma for being too lax, worried about what could happen if Kusuri was left alone, but also curious to see how Kusuri would handle it. While they were discussing, Anna, blushing, arrived with Tsukimiso, claiming to have found some indecent items and asking Okuma to verify them. It turned out to be a roll of toilet paper. Anna's blush was due to her urgency to use the restroom, but the toilet paper had been confiscated by Tsukimiso. Anna had also brought several surveillance department members. At that moment, a panty thief ran by and was kicked down by Anna, who was nearly unable to hold it in, but first praised Okuma before rushing out with the toilet paper. Okuma and Kajo returned to base and found that Kusuri had obtained patrol times and a map of the elite academy, successfully completing her tasks of spreading the materials and a small video. After receiving praise from Kayo, Kusuri's attitude towards Okuma changed drastically, seeing herself as more reliable and thus free to boss Okuma around. Okuma complained about her quick change of attitude and inquired about what Kusuri had actually done. Noticing Hyuka wasn't in the closet, Kusuri revealed her actions. She had read many romance novels and shoujo manga and used emotional tactics to dismantle the student council of the elite academy, playing with the members' emotions and obtaining the map and patrol times during their breakdown. Okuma found this excessive, as Kajo would never want Kusuri to act this way. Yet, Kusuri claimed Okuma wouldn't dare report to Kajo, given his fondness for her, which left Okuma blushing while Kusuri's attitude grew more condescending. Internal conflicts aside, Anna's introduction of Tsukimiso from the surveillance department has created chaos in the school. If this system proves effective, it will be implemented nationwide. They must find a way to deal with the underwear thieves while also tackling the disciplinary committee. During a meeting, Keijo mentioned that the plan would require Okuma's fresh underwear, which she compared to spring mushrooms that attract attention when they emerge. The plan was divided into two groups. Kusuri and Hyuka would distribute risque magazines outside the school, while Okuma and Kajo would risk entering the school. Using Okuma's underwear as bait, they aimed to lure out the underwear thieves. Kajo, disguised as Setsugen no Ao, would distract the student council members, allowing Okuma to catch the thieves before the disciplinary committee could intervene. This would demonstrate SOX's disdain for colluding with the underwear thieves and prove their capability against the committee. Kusuri felt she was more reliable than Okuma, but was disappointed that Keijo excluded her from the action. Keijo assured that as long as Okuma's underwear was involved, she would be safe. Initially, Okuma did not understand why, until Keijo, as Setsugen no Ao, caused a disturbance inside the school. Hiding in the changing room, Okuma soon ambushed two individuals stealing underwear. Unexpectedly, Anna appeared with a member of Tsukimiso. Caught by Anna, Okuma furiously asked Tsukimiso why they didn't target Anna for their anti-indecency efforts. Tsukimiso explained that they prioritized Anna's wishes as directed by their superiors. Okuma, overwhelmed, insisted his actions were part of a sting operation. Even though Anna was making an effort, Okuma questioned why his underwear had to be confiscated. He asked if Tsukimiso was robotic and what their operational rules were. Tsukimiso stated their role simply, to help Anna prevent indecent incidents in school and protect her from such incidents unless Anna pursued them herself. This meant Anna could act freely towards Okuma, and Tsukimiso would turn a blind eye unless Okuma retaliated, in which case, Tsukimiso could act against him. Just then, the underwear thief snatched the underwear from Anna and fled, with Anna and Tsukimiso in pursuit. Kusuri thought Okuma failed in his task, but Kajo saw it as hitting the mark. The plan was to see if they could draw Anna out using Okuma's underwear. Now that Anna had fallen for it, it confirmed Keijo's suspicion that Anna cared more about Okuma than catching the underwear thief. The next day was critical to their plan. While Kusuri's group continued distributing materials outside, Keijo would distract the disciplinary committee. Okuma used Hyuka's underwear as bait in the changing room, successfully trapping the underwear thief. Kusuri felt left out and found the organization boring, while Okuma and Kajo apprehended the criminals. Kusuri put on an underwear mask and found Hyuka in the academy. Hyuka immediately recognized Kusuri's talent for disguise, while Kusuri declared herself a member of SOX. Elsewhere, Okuma always felt that the process of capturing people was going too smoothly. Suddenly, A fire alarm rang out within the school. Feeling a presence behind him, he quickly grabbed the person and stomped between their legs. However, when the lights came on, Okuma realized he had stomped on Tsukimiso. Wait, isn't Tsukimiso a girl? Why is there a beast under the skirt? It turns out Tsukimiso is really a boy who, due to orders from his superiors, dressed as a girl to enroll. This allowed him to better manage indecent incidents and protect Anna by entering both male and female domains. By acting as a female, he could also better protect Anna without developing feelings for her. Okuma felt that Tsukimiso was really treated like a robot because everything Tsukimiso did was under orders. Just then, Anna walked in. Seeing the disguised Okuma, she dismissed him as a fake Okuma. Left with no choice, Okuma removed his underwear to lead people away and informed Kajo that Tsukimiso is a male. Kajo, realizing the plan was likely compromised, decided to withdraw with Okuma. During a meeting, it was revealed that Okuma's smooth capture in the changing room was due to Kusuri using her Esox identity to coerce Hyuka into driving the underwear pervert to the changing room. The sudden fire alarm was also Kusuri's doing. Kajo criticized these actions as too impulsive, solidifying Esox's collusion with regular students and causing property damage, which could negatively impact Esox's reputation. After all, their organization was never intended to destroy the surveillance department or hurt the disciplinary committee. Disappointed, Kusuri found such a Esox as boring as her father. At that moment, they received a challenge letter from Itadaki. Kajo and the group went to the park for the appointment, finding Itadaki wrapped tightly except for his privates, which were exposed. Okuma felt there was nothing to discuss with such an exhibitionist pervert. Itadaki, however, criticized them for lacking taste, pointing out that the underwear on their heads was new, whereas his were old, which he claimed was true taste. He mocked Kajo as pandering to the system, not aligning with their erotic terrorist organization's principles. Itadaki declared this meeting was to issue a challenge, indicating he was planning a big move. Kajo mentioned that Itadaki's organization was too dangerous, but did not notice Kusuri's growing interest in Itadaki. The next morning, Okuma found that the trams had suddenly stopped running, forcing him to take a bus instead. Soon on the bus, he encountered Guriki, who mentioned that the tram outage was due to severed cables, suspecting it might be part of a terrorist attack. Just then, Okuma received a call from Kajo, asking if he was on the bus. Okuma then noticed a pervert with an underwear mask on the bus, who was also holding a gun, demanding everyone hand over their underwear. Several buses were being held hostage, and the higher-ups received news that 42 buses were attacked, even the internal channels were hijacked. At that moment, the bus Hyuka was on was also hijacked. Hyuka couldn't understand why these people were so interested in underwear and reproduction activities, which are unrelated. She also pointed out that the gun the hijacker was holding was fake. Just as the hijacker tried to argue, he was seized by the crowd that rushed him. Hyuka managed to escape the hijacking successfully. As for Anna, she had been lacking Okuma energy lately and was thinking about where to get some of Okuma's underwear. When the hijacker demanded everyone on the bus to hand over their underwear, Anna felt neglected by Okuma, believing it was because she hadn't arrested enough indecent criminals. So she knocked the hijacker unconscious on the spot, thinking this would make Okuma love her. At the same time, Okuma and Guriki were also hijacked. Okuma advised Guriki not to resist, but the hijacker commented that Okuma smelled of underwear. Okuma pulled out a large bag of clothes from his bag, which he had to prevent Anna from sneaking into his house to steal underwear, as there were only a few left. Unable to admit it was Anna's doing, he claimed he carried them for reassurance. The hijacker, with a complex expression, said Okuma and their boss had the same illness. Guriki comforted Okuma, promising not to mock his fetish. However, Okuma turned around to be shocked by Guriki wearing pink women's lingerie, causing the bus passengers and driver to be grossed out. Okuma successfully escaped and met up with Keijo. Keijo said the situation was serious as Itadaki had acted in the name of SOX, causing this wave of hijackings. If Itadaki were arrested, it would ruin SOX's reputation. The best solution was for SOX to act before the surveillance department and arrest Itadaki first to clear their name. Following the attack, the authorities had identified Itadaki as a university student who had now infiltrated a hijacked bus. Although Okuma and others were rescued, 39 buses were still hijacked. Itadaki announced that among these, only one had a real gun. The surveillance department, hesitant to act rashly, entrusted Hyuka, who first identified the fake gun, to help identify the weapons. Keijo said Hyuka's role was just for show, as the surveillance department wasn't foolish. Relying on one person for identification was risky, and they couldn't afford any accidents. Keijo guessed the surveillance department planned to gather the hijacked buses together for a comprehensive strike. She saw this as a good opportunity for SOX to act, to infiltrate and catch Itadaki when the encirclement weakened, emphasizing that after capturing him, they should blend into the crowd of hostages and leave the scene. Okuma felt this was too dangerous, especially since they hadn't confirmed which bus Itadaki was on. Kajo reassured him that they just needed to prepare a bait, so she called Kusuri. Kusuri confidently assured she could help. The plan started, and the pervert on the bus immediately sensed the scent of fresh underwear and demanded the driver to head there. Kajo, disguised as Setsugen no Ao, ran around holding underwear to attract Itadaki. The officials, realizing this tactic, decided to ask their employees if anyone had white underwear, only to find out everyone was wearing black. The vehicle was lured into a forest. As the bus stopped, Okuma immediately rushed on and confronted Itadaki. Itadaki asked if Okuma wasn't afraid he would shoot. Okuma replied that with Itadaki's level of perversion, he couldn't possibly shoot, because Itadaki was wearing freshly made panties on his face and wouldn't want to ruin them. Excited by this, Itadaki, however, quickly overpowered Okuma, mocking that Okuma's leader was nothing special. Just as he was about to remove the panties from Okuma's face, Keijo appeared on the bus. Itadaki noted she didn't smell like others. Keijo revealed she was wearing her own panties. Shocked, Itadaki was then subdued by Okuma, taking advantage of the distraction. Keijo declared Itadaki too twisted, only focused on attacking others and never caring about his own issues. She then stated they would hand Itadaki over to the authorities if they were allowed to drive the bus out. At that moment, Kusuri suddenly betrayed Kajo, pushing her off the bus. To avoid capture by the surveillance department, Keijo swiftly escaped into the forest. Kusuri expressed disappointment in SOX, praising Itadaki for truly standing up to the world. Thus, she decided to join Itadaki in his cause, pulling out her weapon and threatening Okuma to leave the bus. With no choice, Okuma fled into the forest where he encountered Hyuka, who had been assisting the surveillance department in checking the authenticity of the firearms. Currently, over 500 people were held hostage and sent to a school. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Okuma decided to head to the school to help. Meanwhile, officials received a message demanding fresh panties for the hostages. Failure to comply would result in uploading photos of the students wearing panties on their heads to the internet, potentially ruining their lives given the current strict decency laws. The new panties prepared would be forcibly exchanged on the female students every 3 hours. Among the hostages, Hyuka watched them change into panties and, noticing a box of paint nearby, came up with an idea. Keijo contacted Okuma by phone, emphasizing the need to capture Itadaki, or else SOX would be blamed for the crime. If Kusuri were also captured, her father would surely be arrested, leaving no support for any erotic terrorist organizations within Japan. However, with the power disparity between the two sides and the surveillance department surrounding them, action seemed impossible. Disheartened, Okuma was comforted by Hyuka, who unexpectedly mentioned Anna. She noted Anna would do anything for her faction, but such extreme justice might not be the right path, as extreme ideas often lead to failure. Mentioning Anna gave Okuma a new idea. On the other hand, Kusuri's joy turned to sorrow, believing she would change Japan's decency laws by joining Itadaki in fleeing overseas. However, reality soon hit, as Itadaki hadn't thought that far. He only wanted to enjoy fresh panties at the top. His supposed mission to change Japan's indecency laws was just a convenient excuse to enjoy his time until possibly being captured. Kusuri, enraged, used a stun gun on him, only to discover he was immune to electricity. She then fainted. At that moment, Sophia and Anna's father arrived at the command center. Although the officials could raid the place at any time, he stopped them, preferring to let the villains play their roles a bit longer to demonstrate to the public that desires are indeed harmful. This would help promote their PM initiative, similar to what happened with Okuma's father 10 years ago. Okuma and Keijo were discussing which route to take into the academy when they suddenly received a call from Hyuka. She had helped some hostages escape by faking a drawing and located Itadaki's office. making it easier for Okuma and his team to find him. Okuma and Keijo exchanged glances, ready to execute their previously planned strategy. Meanwhile, the student council was also trying to rescue hostages. Guriki, realizing that President Anna, Okuma, and Keijo were missing, found out Anna had gone to take a shower. Overwhelmed by thoughts of Okuma, Anna was burning with desire in the shower. Kosuri was captured and deeply regretted her actions, agreeing with Keijo. Just then, Okuma and Keijo burst in, followed by Anna. It turned out that Okuma had been hiding in the next shower stall as a member of the SOX organization and had agreed to cooperate with Anna, telling her that Itadaki's group had stolen Okuma's panties. Anna, furious, decided to join forces to defeat Itadaki and retrieve Okuma's panties. Okuma, barely managing to deceive Anna by rubbing soap in strategic places, forgot to continue the ruse during their battle with Itadaki, almost exposing the truth to Anna. During the internal fight, the hostages Hyuka had initially freed managed to release the others under her direction. The fake panties drawn by Kosuri distracted the perverts, allowing the hostages to escape successfully. The command center received news that SOX and the student council had stormed into the elite headquarters. Sophia was surprised her daughter was on the scene, but her father assured her that Anna must have followed SOX and that Tsukimiso was with her, so there was no need to worry. At this moment, Itadaki pretended to surrender but revealed a stun gun strapped to his leg as Anna moved to attack. Just then, Tsukimiso arrived, and Kosuri broke free. Together, they attacked, and the stun gun ended up shocking Itadaki's own brother. In the chaos, Okuma suffered from the stun gun, while Keijo struggled to fight without directly looking at Itadaki. Okuma advised her to aim for the chest. Eventually, Keijo and Anna, with Kosuri's help, successfully subdued Itadaki. Itadaki was kicked down the stairs, and afterward, Anna mentioned the possibility of cooperating again in the future. She then rushed off with Tsukimiso to find Okuma's panties, while Okuma quickly reapplied soap to himself. After capturing Itadaki, Kosuri apologized, vowing never to betray them again. Keijo did not pursue Kosuri's responsibility, as they were busy proving to the media that SOX was the organization that subdued Itadaki. Keijo then gave a speech, arguing that forcibly suppressing matters related to sexuality would only backfire. It is better to cover up when necessary and open up when appropriate. In this world, there is no absolute good or evil, and a bipolar approach will never yield good results. After speaking, Keijo and Okuma lit a hot air balloon and left. The officials initially planned to interrupt the live broadcast. However, at a critical moment, Kosuri's father's TV station withstood the pressure and continued the broadcast, successfully spreading Keijo's message. On the balloon, Okuma looked up to Keijo, admiring her occasional cool remarks. But the revolution of SOX continued. After the Itadaki incident, they received a letter at their cafe headquarters addressed to Sophia. Unsure if their headquarters had been exposed, they could only follow the invitation to the designated place. They were headed to a hot spring town, once a famous movie town, Hot Spring Street, later shut down by the decency laws. Okuma remembered his father left him something resembling a steering wheel, telling him to bring it if he ever visited the Hot Spring Street. So, Okuma brought the item along. After its closure, the Hot Spring Street had become a very wholesome sanatorium. The meal packages looked very healthy. Upon arrival, Keijo and the others found no one at the entrance. Unexpectedly, they heard Guriki's voice behind them. He too had received an invitation from Sophia. Anna was also there, having received a letter from her mother, but Sophia was nowhere to be seen on site. Even Hyuka had received an invitation, although she had been catching cicadas in the mountains outside. Anna suspected her mother was trying to set her up with Okuma. She had tried contacting her mother but received no reply. Since they were at a wholesome bathhouse, they decided to enjoy a bath first. While in the bathhouse, Hyuka noticed Anna hadn't come and suspected she might have gone to the men's bath to attack Okuma. Keijo thought Guriki's presence would prevent any mishap, but unknown to them, Anna indeed went after Okuma. She grabbed Okuma's shoulder, leaving him stunned. He soon realized Anna had tricked Guriki away. Just as Okuma was about to fall into a trap, a scream was heard from outside the bathhouse. Anna immediately rushed out, and when Keijo and the others came out, they saw Anna clinging to Okuma's brother in a very awkward situation. At that time, Anna's mother fainted, and a letter addressed to Anna was found beside her. Anna declared she had never written such an invitation. Unexpectedly, a man dressed in black underwear then appeared. If Itadaki was for white underwear, this man was all for black. He declared war on Okuma and the others. Once Guriki returned, the man fled. Meanwhile, Tsukimiso received news and headed to the bathhouse with an intern, only to fall into a trap. Okuma and the others decided to dress before pursuing the intruder, only to find their clothes had been switched by the pervert. Now they had to wear black underwear. Okuma felt uneasy about the clothing and planned to retrieve everyone's luggage in the living room. Keijo was also uncomfortable and decided to go with Okuma. Both felt awkward, and Okuma teased Kajo, who usually runs around in a towel, for suddenly being shy. Kajo responded that being proactive and being forced are different. Upon arriving in the living room, they found the pervert had already taken their luggage and extracted the steering wheel left by Okuma's father, claiming it was the key to unlocking a relic. Suddenly, Keijo remembered a rumor about a museum on the Hot Spring Street, said to contain numerous secret items before it was shut down. Anna and the others quickly arrived on the scene. Upon learning the man intended to use the steering wheel to unlock something mysterious, they immediately resolved to stop him. Meanwhile, Tsukimiso and an intern arrived, only to fall into a trap that soaked their clothes, forcing them to wear black underwear. The pervert proposed a strip rock paper scissors game, promising to return their belongings and the key if he lost all his clothes. The intern won a round, but couldn't handle the pervert's tricky moves and quit, screaming, "I'm not an intern anymore." Then Guriki took his turn. Okuma, aware of Guriki's oddities, quietly advised Kajo not to look in Guriki's direction when he lost. As expected, Guriki lost and removed his jacket, disgusting the pervert. Okuma seized this moment to grab the luggage. Anna instructed Okuma and Keijo to dispose of the stolen items while she stayed behind to distract the pervert. Keijo saw this as a perfect opportunity to find the secret base with Okuma. After Hyuka finished catching bugs, she appeared and told them about a rusty cable car nearby. With Hyuka's help, they started the cable car, and Okuma and Kajo successfully boarded. Unexpectedly, Anna climbed up, claiming she had beaten the pervert and insisting Okuma accept her love. She almost threw Okuma off with a scissor leg move when the cable car split, and Anna fell off. Keijo noted the fall wouldn't hurt Anna due to the height. Keijo and Okuma ventured into the abandoned underground, finding a message from Okuma's father and a well-preserved sculpture. The mechanism fit perfectly with the steering wheel. Kajo and Okuma tried to activate it but lacked the strength. Luckily, Kosuri and Hyuka arrived, and together they turned the switch, opening a door to a room filled with various models. It turned out the pervert was a former partner of Okuma's father. Moved by Keijo's words during the live broadcast, he led them here to find the relics, though his preference for black briefs was indeed peculiar. Given the potential societal impact, Okuma and his friends decided to seal the secret room, preserving it for future generations. So, if you find a risque magazine by the roadside, it might be from the old days. But don't scan any QR codes inside, or you might get scammed.